Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studio in Chicago, Illinois, it's time for Chicago Business Radio. Brought to you by FirmSpace, your private sanctuary for productivity and growth. To learn more, go to firmspace.com. Now, here's your host.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chicago Business Radio. I'm your host, Max Cantor. But before we get started, I do want to thank today's sponsor. Today's show is sponsored by FirmSpace. Thanks to FirmSpace, because without them, we couldn't be sharing these important stories. And we have a great show today. On the show, we have the principal and CEO of the Matrix Club. So please welcome to the show, Madan Kulkarni. Welcome to the show, Madan.
Hi, Max. Thank you for having me on.
So let's jump right in. Tell me, what is the Matrix Club?
The Matrix Club is a kind of a unique venture which will host a variety of things. First of all, it's an event venue which will host all kinds of events, right from weddings, shows, fashion shows, concerts. It has got the latest in audio visuals. It has got a very flexible space. Along with this convention and banquet space, it also has its full-service kitchens. It has got international fusion cuisine restaurant, a world music and jazz lounge. It has got a little performing arts theater. It's got an art gallery. It's got dance and yoga studios. So it has got a bunch of things from the artistic side which are very synergistic to each other and which could be very unique for the community to come in and experience.
How did the idea for the Matrix Club come about?
Well, this has come about after years of research. I've been involved in promoting of art, music, and different kinds of things over the last 30 years. And I always wanted to collaborate with artistic kind of people to create some kind of a platform for global cultures to come together and express themselves. Along with that, provide services to a global community, which could enhance the understanding of different cultures and which could educate as well as entertain people. So the Matrix Club is kind of a result of years of thinking along these lines.
Now, when did you start planning the Matrix Club?
Matrix Club has been in the plans for the last over nearly 2 decades. It has been, a plan of experimentation, a plan of, putting things in together in starts and pieces. And then finally, this particular venue and this particular venture, which is being constructed currently and which should open in the next 3 or 4 months, is the culmination of all those, ideas and outreaches. So once this place opens, I think we'll be putting all these things in one place and people will see how all these things interact with each other.
So you talked about your emphasis on bringing together global cultures and diverse global cultures. So how are you building that community amongst various diverse communities?
The simple fact is when you provide a stimulating atmosphere, a place which welcomes artists, performers, as well as people who want to do events of different kinds into a place which will provide them with the flexibility of space, the conveniences of presenting their cultures in a way which they want it presented and in a way which they feel at home with. I think it kind of builds on its own. I'll just give you a simple example. We have our convention and banquet space, which is flexible enough to do a wedding or a concert. Now, for example, if we do a concert tomorrow, and then we have, say, a Greek artist coming in from Greece. Now, because of our full service kitchen, and then the way how the banquet facility and the convention facility is laid out, and then the huge stage which we have, it's a 70 by 30 stage, which is inbuilt with the most modern sound and light systems by companies like Bose and RCF and Danley and Chauvet. We bring these people in, and then right from the basics. Like, for example, the artists are provided with adequate, the change rooms and all that. They're provided with the practice facilities, and then they are provided with the latest of sound and light systems and technicians who understand what they want. That's one thing, and it's all inbuilt within the place. So you don't have to drag in sound from outside, you don't have to drag in light from outside, but you see a system which is absolutely calibrated to this particular space. So it saves them a lot of trouble. And then from the audience perspective, you offer them free complimentary parking. Like if you go to the bigger venues, you pay anywhere from $25 to $35 in parking, but here you get complimentary parking. And when they come into the pre-function areas, they are provided with concessions which are both Greek as well as mainstream American. So they get to have a taste of both their home and their homeland. So now it kind of stimulates them. It makes them feel at home. For the Greeks, it makes them feel that they are listening to a concert in Greece. For the Indians, it makes them feel that they are listening to a concert in India. Similarly, for the people here, it makes you feel that you're listening and enjoying a concert here. Then apart from that, if you come into this venue, once the venue is ready, you're sitting on a space which is carpeted, which has got plush banquet chairs, which has got the screens and the LED screens and all that, designed and calibrated to this space. So it makes for a wholesome experience in a very cozy and comfortable atmosphere. And we can hold up to 2,000 people. So I think we are really intrigued by what we can offer to the people here.
Totally. And I think what makes you guys really unique is that no two people coming to your space will have the same exact experience, depending on what culture they're from and what event they go to. I mean, when I think of other event spaces, you go to multiple events there. It could be the same feel every time, but what you guys are doing and what it sounds like is you want to make each experience as unique as possible. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Like, for example, when I was just talking to you about a Greek concert or a Polish concert or an Indian concert, what is displayed on those LED screens inside the space also? You could see scenes from Greece, you could see scenes from the Acropolis, and then at the same time, you could see, artistically developed, demonstrated food stalls outside which serve Greek food. So when people walk in there, they immediately identify with their culture in the context of this great country. So that's the whole idea. So and then you can always go for a cross-cultural experience. Like for example, somebody from Spain wants to take in an experience of, say, a Greek concert. The French people can walk in there and then get an idea of what the cuisine is and what the scenes around there are and what kind of music is being played. I think it will be a great cross-cultural experience for people also. And then understanding each other's cultures, I think, is the best way of promoting understanding between places and people and countries.
Definitely. I mean, you're taking something as fun as a concert and making it educational in a way as well, which is super cool.
I would like to call it edutainment. It's both education as well as entertainment.
Yes, I love that. Yep, that's exactly what you guys are doing. Edutainment. That's perfectly describes it. Now, I know with when it comes to like COVID-19, I'm sure event spaces in the industry, it took a hit. So how did you guys navigate during the pandemic, and what are you doing moving forward?
Well, we are taking some very sensible steps to protect our clients and consumers and all that. We will be installing screens and we will be installing devices and then air fresheners and cleaners, which will recirculate air and all that in consultation with our architects and the local municipalities. So we have an award-winning architect, Arzumanian and Company, who is working very closely with us to put these things in place. And we are constantly on the lookout for different ways to make our clients and people more safe, and to make the safety measures very accessible to them. At the same time, detect things which can possibly affect the performance or conduct of an event well in advance and take precautionary measures. So, and then apart from that, we'll also require, daily screening of all our employees coming into our facility, which makes the place also very safe for people. So I think we can navigate through that. And then secondly, because of the size of the place, even if social distancing is mandated and the number of people let inside is mandated by whatever the demands of the situation are, I think we'll be able to do that because we can seat about 1,300 people. So tomorrow, if there is a big, say, South Asian wedding which calls for a lot of people, so instead of having 700-800 people there, they could still get away by having 400, which is a substantial number of people in a 1,300 people space. So there is enough social distancing in place. At the same time, they don't feel that they have not invited some of their closest friends and family and all that. So we are able to fulfill those needs of the client as well.
Now, apart from pandemic-related things and health-related things, are there any trends that you're seeing in your industry?
Trends, the biggest thing which we are seeing is, when the pandemic hit and in the first few months, there was a lot of online events going on, and online concerts, online events, online weddings and all that. But immediately in the second year, we have seen the trend turn around because there is no substitute to live things happening, people meeting each other and greeting each other. We feel that online activities are good, but they are not a substitute for a real event happening with people congregating together and then exchanging greetings and the warmth which they normally have for each other. So, and then because of the lack of events and because of the shortening of these events or cut down of these events, we see a huge pent-up demand, which we feel is ready to explode in the next few years. So far as we find adequate, deterrents to these newly, forming mutants and stuff like that, I think the industry is poised to grow. The industry is poised to, accept the pent-up demand, which is, going to be coming now.
Madan, where is the Matrix Club located?
The Matrix Club is located in the beautiful city of Naperville on Route 59 and a couple of blocks south or north of Ogden Avenue. It's on Ogden and 59 in Naperville.
And if one of our listeners was interested in booking an event with you guys, when is the earliest you guys are starting to book?
We are starting to accept events from June of 2022. That's this year. So we already have several events booked starting in May, June onwards, and it is going on. So we have bookings in 2023. The events are going on for, events have been booked for 2023 and 24 also. So we've already started booking events.
And if people want to learn more about the Matrix Club, do you have a website you'd like to share?
Yes, it's www.matrixvenue.com. www.matrixvenue.com.
Well, Madan, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been great talking to you about the Matrix Club, and it sounds like you guys are making edutainment at its finest.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And thank you all for listening to another episode of Chicago Business Radio. I'm your host, Max Cantor, and we'll see you next time.
This episode of Chicago Business Radio has been brought to you by FirmSpace, your private sanctuary for productivity and growth. To learn more, go to firmspace.com.